doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101. Why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way. 2, they really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
Welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up, fam? How y'all doing? I'm doing okay, sir. Getting ready for this 4th of July weekend and getting ready for vacation. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right, man. Yeah. I mean, hey, this is always the 4th is, any holiday that we get to just relax is good. But definitely the 4th is always one of my favorite ones. It's always good. As long as we are safe, it's always some crazy stuff going on. Every time it's 4th of July, here come guns. Here you go, crazy stuff. You're like, all right.
Get your boys. Get your boys out there, or get your boys and your girls.
Yeah, the girls be shooting too. You're right.
Man, real Joe.
All right. Shout out to the people tuning in here. I see Miss Mona, 529, Marlena. How are you guys? Appreciate the support. All right. So, Mr. Ford, Today's topic. All right. So here's the funny part. When I posted this promo, when I said the tale of the naked fingers, right? Saying where are his and her rings today? The response that I was kind of getting from people was, oh, is your show going to be about people who are married who are hiding their rings? And I kind of laughed because I was like, actually, no. The perspective I was coming from was like there is just a mass audience of people that are single for various reasons, divorced for various reasons, but not married. They're just out here, right? Great catches, men and women alike, but they're just out here. And so, I was just shedding the light on, like, do we really know why? And this is not to say, disclaimer, there are people still getting married. However, it just seems that there is more, you see more agreements, exchanges, and friendships that benefit than you do marital bliss. That's all I'm saying. And so I'm coming from that perspective. But hey, we can touch on the hiding the married ring later on to the show too. We can do a little bit of it all, just to put it out there. But no, greetings, Danielle. So yeah, I think this will be a pretty great show. We could get on into this one. Mr. Ford, do you have any initial thoughts before we go into the reading?
One of the things that I do want to say was I think everybody should definitely share the show. Like the show. Yeah. We really want to build up the audience because we believe that we can make a positive difference in people's lives. And so if you would do us the pleasure of just sharing the show and liking the show so that those that are connected with you can also hear what we have to say, and they can also chime in as well in our comments.
That's good stuff, Mr. Ford. All right. Yeah. Mr. Ford, do you want to do us the honors of, the usual, reading the show,
No. Today's my last day. I quit. All right, so here we go. Where are his and her rings today? There's a lot to be said about a world where desire takes first aim at the pursuit of love, relationships and marriage today. The hard truth is that many of his subscribers remain single, divorced, in fair exchanges, or in comfortable friendships that resembles a relationship, aka entanglement. Bottom line, there are a lot of qualified and available singles that want love but can't seem to secure it, thus yielding to the masses the default status of single. Many attend a multitude of single events that are geared towards meeting and connecting, but end up with the experience of meeting but not connecting. They come with the expectation of finding the one and leaving having met no one. So the question of the hour begs, why are so many comfortable with just sampling and maintaining the autonomous status of being outside where many never make it inside to the altar?
That's really good. All right. You know, if I had to sum up a lot of what you just read, I guess I would come up with the concept. Overall, are we looking at the status of single as safe, or are we looking at it as sad? Like, basically, that's what it comes down to. It's like, so, I mean, here's the hard truth. Women cannot marry themselves, right? It takes, if that's if we're doing this, politically correct way, between men and women. This is between a man and a woman. If we're doing this politically correct, women cannot marry themselves. It takes a man to participate in the unions for that it can be sanctioned. Okay. So, me personally, I'd be willing to bet you would probably find more willing, ready, and suitable women that's ready to get married than you probably would men. Now, there are some men that definitely still believe in the sanctity, still desire. I have my opinions on both sides. Okay, on both sides.
Okay.
And before we go deeper, later I will deal with the fact that I have an opinion as to a spiritual answer and a non-spiritual answer to this whole fight. But right now, what I'm going to say is, seeing as though the women can't marry themselves, sometimes when I look at the whole landscape of single between men and women, and the fact that women can't marry themselves, I look at women and I look at some of the things that I hear the masses that desire. Let's just say, I'm not going to say everyone wants marriage, because you have some folks that have been divorced and they're like, look, I just want a companion. I don't need all of that, right? Everybody has to each is their own in terms of their end game. But sometimes it can look like women are fighting against one another, unbeknownst to one another, for their cause. And this is what I mean. You have today an emergence of an entirely different culture that's always been around, but now it is on the mainstream. And I brought this up in another show, is when I talked about the strip club culture. Strip club culture is no longer the nightlife behind the closed doors, and don't look in the room that has the silver, with those silver lights, disco balls. Don't look in the room. Back in the day, they used to have this kind of crazy looking places like that, but don't look in those rooms because that's off limits. Don't go over there. It's kind of frowned upon, the people of the night, all that kind of stuff. But nowadays, it's almost like the doors are wide open, and the strip club is now in real life, real world. People that's in there, they look the same outside. And so you see there is no more. It's like nowadays what men would sneak off to go and do and look, and for whatever reasons they had to go there, now they just see this 24/7, whether in person, whether online, or what have you. So that's one aspect.
Okay.
Then you have the monetization position of it for like your OnlyFans, right? You got the women who are becoming self-entrepreneurs by saying, listen, I don't see anything wrong with showing whatever I have virtually to get what I need or whatever I want to build myself up or whatever that is. And so I feel like sometimes in scenarios like that, there is a remnant of women. Then you have the remainder of women that are like, no, I am, I still believe like my parents, or I still have a desire for a husband, and I believe I want to have the white picket fence or whatever that looks like. You have that bunch of women. Then in the middle, so let's see, we at one end we have the strip club OnlyFans. In the middle, on one side we have the women who still want to get married and believe in it. Then in the middle, we have the women that I would call have settled at a place called situation. I'm okay in a situation because I used to be married, I used to believe, or I've been in enough relationships that's caused me no longer to believe. I don't quite want to go to the strip club. I don't quite want to do OnlyFans, but I'm okay with a situation or two if it works to my benefit, right? So what that does is overall, now I'm going to get to the men, our fault in it. These ladies can't thrive in these positions without us. We are the ones funding it. We are the ones signing up to the subscriptions to OnlyFans. We are the ones making it rain in the strip club. We are the ones, hey, nowadays you got other sexes in there too, but mostly it's us. Okay? Mostly it's us. We in there, make it rain, all of this. But then we have the gall to say, oh, you a thot, or you're gonna be on the side. But we're creating these pieces on the chessboard. We create them, and so now we have this going on, and it's chaotic. And so what it is on the human side of us, you have people who desire to get married and want their person. But I would be lying if I just did not believe, between people being frustrated and not believing that certain components of covenant can still exist, people are frightened because it's some nutcases in the world today of all sorts. People are afraid to just jump out there and really expose themselves from a vulnerable standpoint to really find love. That's my point.
Interesting. That's interesting. Well, I can only share from my own personal experience. Seeing that I'm married now, but I was single before. Divorced and all of that. And so, dude, she upstairs. Let's go. She upstairs. We can go get her right now. Keep on playing with me. She right upstairs. I can get her. I can just text her right now. What's up? She probably watching. She might be watching.
Let's all right, okay, go ahead.
Oh my God, dude. It's gonna be one of them kind of shows. I see already. It's gonna be one of them kind of shows. All right. So my thing is, okay, so I think honestly, if I'm speaking to both our brothers and our sisters, when I was single, like I said, divorced, looking or being interested in somebody, I made sure that I was intentional. I made sure that I was deliberate. I didn't want to just date for the sake of dating. I wasn't just looking just to be looking. It wasn't about window shopping with me. It was about finding somebody who I could share my life with. And I wanted to find somebody that I had chemistry with, somebody who was genuinely looking for somebody else. And I think sometimes we get into these dating situations in terms of searching for that love, for that spouse, but we really are not intentional in terms of what we're looking for. I'm not saying that everybody's not intentional, but I'm just saying often we're not intentional. And let me just be fair. Sometimes that's okay. If you're just looking to date just for the sake of dating, okay, that's fine. The problem comes in at is when you date with no intention, then you're liable to get anything.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You're not being selective. You're not using discretion. You're not thinking about this whole process of getting to know this person, you know, and as a result, you end up with situations that you should not be in the first place.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, and I really do believe that if we're not looking to get with somebody intentionally, then yeah, we're going to end up with stuff that literally disappoints us.
Wow.
You know, because we're not being deliberate in turn. We're not being pragmatic. And I think sometimes we have a tendency to want to make romance exclusive from being pragmatic. And pragmatic is just simply being practical, thinking through the process, being logical with it. I do believe that, yes, our heart should be involved with it. Absolutely. But we also should involve our minds. We should involve our intellect, and we should think through this process, our conversations that we're having. We're talking about this, we're talking about that. What do we have in common? What are the things that we share? What are our differences? How do our differences pull us apart completely, or are they something that can actually work to complement your person? But again, if you're not going into the dating scene intentionally and deliberately, you're not going to know what you're looking for. Here's the thing, though: you might even stumble upon it, but not know that you stumbled upon it because you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's not in front of you. You don't. It's not a target or a bullseye for you. It's just something that happens, and so that person walks out of your life forever, and you didn't know that was the person that was supposed to be for you because you weren't looking for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think some of us need to be a little more intentional, a little more deliberate. Again, I'm not saying that you can't, date to have fun. That's fine. That's cool. But if you're looking to get into a serious relationship, if you're looking to find somebody to be a part of your life who you can share your life with, you have to put some intentionality behind it. You have to. That's the only way that you're going to find what you're looking for.
And a big part of that is saying to yourself before you decide to, as they say in the business world, go to market. Before you go to the single market,
okay,
are you going, like you said, with the best intentions?
Yeah.
Or are you going to just exist in time? And I say that because there are some people who will be out, they'll, say that they out of their mouth, they're saying that they want to date and go out. But really people are biding time while the person who they really like gets themselves together. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like people will come out on the scene, say they're available, they want to do this, that, and the other, but deep down in their heart, they're struggling with the fact that this other person didn't choose them. This other person is over there doing this, that, and the other. So most people say, well, I'm not finna be out here by myself, whether you're a man or a woman, I'm not going to be looking dumb, so I'm going to go out here. But technically, what looks dumb is going out there if you're not done.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? What looks dumb is, like you said, going out there saying you're available, you're ready, but in your heart, you torn and you still love the person. Or you still feel like if they call you today, you're going to move. You're going to react. And so that's a big part of this whole trajectory of people out here being frustrated because you have people on the scene that are not ready to be on the scene. And they're out here and they're saying one thing, but spirit wise, mind wise, action wise, they're dormant because they really have another agenda. So we have to say to ourselves, am I coming correct or am I taking up space? You got to be honest with yourself. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, so the reality is, and I think we've said this time and again, and we will continue to say this, is that, if you're entering into a possible relationship still with our feelings attached to the previous person, then we're honestly doing ourselves a disservice because we are not ready.
Yeah.
You still got attachment, emotional attachment to the person that you were with, which means you're not able to be open to receive anybody new. You have to bring closure to the previous chapter. And a lot of us have open chapters with a whole lot of people.
Yeah, no, that's
and we got a whole lot of chapters that are literally unfinished.
Yeah.
And we're just walking around with these chapters completely unfinished, looking for our next person. Hopefully this will be the person that'll be, be mine. When in reality, we can't be theirs because we still got these attachments to these other people that we haven't really closed the book on. We haven't closed the account on that thing. That thing is still active. That thing is still running. We're still getting charged for stuff that we did not end the account on. And if you're going to really get into a real relationship and put your all into it, you got to cut those things off, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So the person that you're with right now is good, and you realize that you guys are compatible. You got chemistry, but because you got this past attachment, you got this past connection that you have not severed, you haven't ended it. It's not closed. You're not available for the person that you're with now. And I guarantee you, they are going to take note of that. I guarantee you, they know what's happening right now. They're like, I want to move forward. I want to do this thing. But you are in a state of suspended animation, still attached to the past person. And you haven't learned how to let them go.
Wow.
What are we doing, y'all? What we doing?
Another thing we do, and this is something that I have long seen as just a huge stumbling block in the way of whether you're a male or female in this dating pool, is a lot of times we live in a time where the blueprint, our version of a blueprint of happiness is how someone, follow me on this one, is how someone else treated us that left us in a state of single. Like, you notice how people will be in a relationship or come out of something and say, well, so-and-so, well, I'm just not used to that because this is the standard of what I'm used to because of so-and-so treated me this way. But so-and-so left you single. That's the point I'm making. So the point we need to get to that point is that's one of the worst things we can do is reference stuff that didn't work rather.
Okay.
If it didn't work, it's not worth the reference.
Right.
You can keep it in your own personal toolbox and say, well, everything wasn't bad, but hey, count it as a loss, move on. But if you keep on holding this person up as a measuring stick, you're not going to make it too further past it because your mind is psychologically holding you to this person to say, I'm not really going to let them go until this bar is topped. Now, once the bar is topped, I'll consider trashing it. But for now, even though we're not together, they're really just a phone call away. And I'm not going to let them go until the bar is topped.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is that past person is your contingency plan. He's your just in case person. She is your if this doesn't work out situation scenario. And you can't be in a relationship like that.
Yeah.
Because again, people aren't dumb.
Yeah.
I think we play people too cheap as if we're getting something over on them. But I guarantee you, they are clued in on your intention. Yeah. And they can tell your intention by your behavior and by your language. Yeah. And you're acting like you're acting maybe one way and maybe talking one way. But in reality, truth be told, unconsciously, subliminally, your ducks are all the way out there. And that person's like, okay, so when this person going to get together? When this person going to fully, really sever the past and come into the present so we can go forward in our future? When are we actually going to do that? And I guarantee, listen real good. Listen, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to you.
Okay.
There is a time limit. That person has said, okay, you keep on playing around with me. Keep on playing around. Keep on procrastinating. Keep on delaying. I'm about to walk out that door.
Wow.
I'm about to leave.
Yeah.
Because you're not making a move. Like I said before, you're in suspended animation.
Yeah.
Stuck in the past, can't move in the present, can't go nowhere near the future because you got this attachment to this person. And here's the thing, though, Charles. You already said it. This person left you single.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's obviously a reason why you're not with this person anymore.
Yeah.
Yet, like I've said on time occasions before, we romanticize the past relationship as if it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So my question is, how come you're not still in that relationship?
Yeah.
Y'all not gonna talk to me? Okay. All right. I'm just saying.
That's real talk. No, I mean, listen, the best way I could probably try to simplify this is if we're thinking so everybody goes to the grocery store, right? I know we order food now from, all them sites that deliver the groceries, but for those of us who still go to the grocery store physically, you ever notice the feeling when you first grab the cart and go to walking? In your mind, there's this light feeling of, I'm smelling the fresh aroma of the store. Here is all of these products. Let me get out my list and get to looking, right? But there's a total different feeling once you are still in that grocery store and have a heavy cart. When you got a heavy cart full of items, when you walk, you ever be pushing along a heavy thing, and then you get to the end, you got to almost take 2-3 stops to stop the thing.
Stop the car, right.
Heavy. If someone else is coming up, you got, excuse me, sorry, but it's different when you're navigating light. So the point I'm making is the grocery store is supposed to be the dating scene.
Okay.
We can't come into the dating scene with full carts.
That's true.
You won't navigate healthy. It won't be a pleasant. It'll be difficult. You push him. You got to stop sooner. It just slow. Your mind is not focusing on the thing that you're passing because you got a full plate already. Right. And so the whole goal is to come into this thing open and say, listen, I'm not going to put nothing in this cart unless it is something I intend to be intentional about shopping for. I think that's one of the number one things that we like right now. We just picking up to get along. And it's sad to say, Adam, to me, as I look around at things, it doesn't even really look like it's really about dating no more. It's about being cool. We cool. We got this. Tomorrow so-and-so, we cool. That's my home girl. That's my home boy. But underneath homeboy and home girl is everything under the sun. We done went to Jamaica, slept together. We go to movies when a new movie come out, sleep together. We go to eat dinner when you want to go to a nice restaurant, sleep together. But we leave with no strings.
Wow.
That's the reality of today. And everywhere you look, people will go out to events. The person right over there you done slept with 2 days ago, but you act like you don't see him. You might be like, hey, you with a new date. That's where we are today. It's chaos. And so it almost makes it feel like the intentionality of it is evaporated.
Oh, yeah.
Just space and time and arrangements. And as long as we are on the same page with my dishonest truth, we're okay. Because really what's being presented is dishonest truth. Okay. Yes, you are married. Okay. Yes, you live with a man or a woman, but is that honest?
Right.
I don't care if the other person says we can be open or not. Make no more mistake about it. Don't no person at the house really want you to bring somebody back there. Say, look what I found at the grocery store.
Do it.
Like, what the heck is? Will you take them back out of here? If they really want to be honest, now they may say whatever it takes to keep you happy, but internally, no one wants to share. I don't care what nobody say. Nobody wants to really share what you really care about.
Okay.
Now, if you don't care and you use it as an opportunistic reason to bring a lot of folks in and out your bedroom, you will have at it. But if somebody is a matter of the heart, you can't fathom, let alone seeing someone put a hand on them. You can't fathom watching someone pleasure a person that you love wholeheartedly. That's not you. So you got to stop playing these games and being fooled into being on these rosters. Because really what's happening is we're not dating. We're being approached by coaches.
Okay.
And coaches are asking you to be on their team. Coaches are saying, hey, you look like you'll be a pretty good fullback, pretty thick. That's what we're saying. and we want you to be on our team, and this is what I'm going to pay you to be on my team. I'm going to get your nails done. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to help you put a little bit on the bill. Don't worry, I'll go to your son's football game too. This is what I'm going to pay you. But you can't be my girl. I'm married. I don't want to hear this, that, and the other. I'm married. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's the game we're playing nowadays. We're not even being honest we're not even giving a person an honest try. We just coming with the meat off the break. This is just meat. That's it. And this is what I'm going to pay you for the meat. That's period. Meat markets.
Yeah, that sounds like a daggone rotation to me. You got some people in your rotation that you keep on a regular schedule. You know, you give them a retainer, like as if they are an attorney. You give them a retainer, so that way they remain available to you at any given moment. Y'all don't want to really talk about this for real, because I know a lot of y'all got some. You got some schedules, you got some rotations, you got a whole catalog books.
But you know what, Adam? It's sad to say.
Oh, God.
We live in a time that people see the roster as safety. You know why?
That's bad.
We say to ourselves, I know there's a roster, but at least I'm aware that there's a roster. I'm not told that I'm the only one, only to find out there's a roster, right? And so this is why we're being crippled today, is because people are honestly tired of being hurt, tired of being lied to, tired of being done wrong right in their face. So they're saying, listen, I'm not going to trade in my love card. I'm not going to trade in who I love. I love men or I love women. So I have to find a way to cope in this sad situation. So what I will do is, as long as you're willing to be honest about your deceitful life, I'll deal with you, right? If you be honest with me, if you keep your wife away from me, keep your husband away from me, if nobody's coming to my door, scratching my car doors, I can meet you down the street at the hotel once a week, twice a week. Whatever the case is, right? We can do these things if you're okay. Hey, but I might just want some dinner sometime. Oh, I may need you to go with me to an event. Are you available for those things? Okay. And if you go and agree with them, people will say, let's do it, let's go. And then people go back home reluctantly in their mind. They know that the outing they had was beneath them moral-wise.
Yeah.
But because we are human and because we desire companionship, we compromise and we say, well, just this time I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I'm not doing anything anyway. I'm not in a relationship anyway. Well, guess what? You never arrive at a relationship the longer you allow your esteem to be diminished.
That's true.
That's the biggest lie we tell ourselves, is that I can act a complete fool because I'm single.
Wow.
The whole point of being single is to build up yourself so that you can handle what comes your way. But if you take everything, allow everything, lay with everything, I don't care what kind of job you have, nothing is nothing like being a well-suited, highfalutin floozy internally. When your spirit is a floozy, it ain't nothing. It's no feeling like you can be successful and everybody be like, oh, you have a good job. But in your mind, here comes someone that's just not even committed to you. Am I seeing you later? Handsome. I'm trying to lay with you. And you sit there like, I'm not a floozy. You know what I'm saying to yourself? But I'm saying it's real. You can be as high up as you want to be. Right. But if you allow yourself to be treated down here, your esteem for the next level is diminished. Wow. And it takes you to have to become aware of that, to say, listen, I can't keep allowing this to keep happening this way because I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't care if I think I have a need for it or not. I don't like it. So I need to do something to change this dynamic. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, no doubt. And it's interesting because I do see the direction that you're headed with this, and it's, I think we need to have a conversation about, now we've said this before and we'll continue to say it over and over again, and that is the fact that, you know, the reason why we get into these entanglements and situationships and complications is because we have allowed our desperation to lead us there. We don't think that we can afford a real relationship, so we compromise and we settle for the lesser thing, thinking that it'll do, you know. And you know, okay, so let's be real, let's be honest. I don't mean to be real carnal with this carnal, but the reality is sometimes, you know, we think that it'll satisfy the need, and it does for a moment. But that's not the real need. You think that the real need is the physical or the sexual aspect of it. You think that the attention is the real need. The real need is to have somebody who is a true companion to you.
Correct. Who
complements you, who is compatible and has chemistry with you.
Cares.
You know, who actually genuinely, authentically cares about you. But because you've been through so many different situations and you did not receive what you needed to receive, you've allowed yourself to just kind of like settle. Because if I settle, then at least I can get part of my needs met, if you will. And the reality is that's such a depreciating diminishment of who you are.
Yeah.
Because you are worth so much more than that. I really do believe that when we really understand our worth and our value, we won't go to the low places to find somebody to meet us where we are. We won't go to the places that are dark and in shadow to meet somebody. And let me just even go a little further with this. Honestly, I really don't believe that many of us actually know what we need. We go after what we want.
There we go.
Confusing what we want with what we actually need.
That's true.
And in the process of getting what we want, we blow up our relationships, we blow up our lives because we believe that what we wanted was it. But in fact, it wasn't it.
Well, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the reality is we ignore what we actually need for what we want.
Yeah.
We got to stop doing that, because the more you continue to ignore what you need, the more neglected you will become. And you'll become what you know when you don't eat for a long time and you get starved, you know what I'm saying? You become emaciated. That's the word I'm looking for. You become emaciated. Your body ceases to function because it no longer is receiving the food, the sustenance that it needs to function as a human body. And so often we have gotten into these relationships that aren't worth our time. We've gotten into these situationships that just confuse us. We've gotten into these complications that don't really do anything for us, all because we've allowed our desperation to put us there, all because we believe we found what we wanted, but it wasn't what we needed. And we as a people have to be able to differentiate what we want versus what we need, because what we want doesn't always help us. What we want doesn't secure us. What we want is not good for us. Come on, let's be real. What we want isn't always good for us. It's good to us, but it ain't good for us. What we need is something that will actually help us. And often what we need confronts us where we are with the truth of who we are to help us to become all that we're supposed to be. But because we neglect the need and embrace the want, we find ourselves sitting on somebody else's roster. Lord have mercy today. We find ourselves on the shelf as a placeholder. We find ourselves in all these different types of arrangements that demean us and devalue us, not really realizing that if I would just take a step back out of this, maybe I could really find somebody who really wants me for me.
That's the truth.
Let's figure out the difference between a want and a need. Let's do that first.
Wow, man, Hey, this is some good stuff here, sir. I mean, listen, we have to say to ourselves, like Demetra brought up something earlier on, and she said a lot of this to her, from her perspective, it seems like it comes down to a matter of self-love.
Yeah.
Like, are we loving ourselves enough to not find ourselves in these positions? But I'll take it a step further. I think some people, no doubt, start off with all the self-love in the world, but there's something that's called time that diminishes even that, right? Time, you let yourself be single long enough. It's just like that expensive item that I may walk into the store and be like, man, I really like it, but it's expensive. I don't know how I want to spend that right now. Well, guess what? I'm going to come back in 3 months, 6 months, and I'm looking to see, is it on clearance yet? Right? Wow. Is it discounted yet? And so sometimes we start out with all the self-love in the world, but all of the singleness can start to take off the S, and it becomes elf love, lift love, E love, and then it's just love, and then you get down to just VE. So you get to the point where that desperation can sit in because you get flustered with your standards not yielding you the ROI you expected.
Okay.
And so you get upset, and you get to being like, oh, well, guess what? I know that I said that I definitely would never not talk to someone that's a non-believer. I guess if I could just go to the coffee place and just have a conversation, it's nothing wrong with that. Or, whatever it is that you believe in, we start to cross over those things because we're getting in that desperate zone, right? Then we start to find ourselves saying, well, what is this? And I guess I can try and see what it's like. I haven't given it a chance yet, so let me go ahead and do it. And there you go.
Okay.
So now, really quick, like I brought up to you before the show, Mr. Ford, here's a concept. Now, everyone may not agree with this concept. I understand. They're gonna say boo, but no. Anyway, listen.
Boo! Get out of here, boo!
As to why sometimes I personally believe, if we're looking at it from a spiritual umbrella, why all of the chaos that we're experiencing in relationships and why they seem to just not work. You ever notice, like coming up in life, I'm sure we've all had that family member or someone we knew that needed a special donor, right? Okay. Maybe someone had a bone marrow. But see, it wasn't that. Think about it. We're a whole world full of people. So somebody can just say, oh, Adam need bone marrow. Hey, Adam, I'm flying to Chicago tomorrow. I got you. And guess what? They can put me on that table, put us side by side. I'm giving Adam the bone marrow that we think he needs. But then they're going to say, oh, wait, we have a problem. This is not the proper match.
Right.
So his body is rejecting it.
Right.
So what am I saying, people? If we are holding true to what we were taught from the beginning of time as it pertains to men and women, we were taught that God first made man and he created women formed from his rib, right? So if God took women from man's rib, that woman ought to possess that man's same blood type, right? Okay. And so what I always thought as a kid when I would hear this preaching in church like this, and I used to thought, wow, as a kid, I would be like, well, if we out here picking and choosing at will whomever we feel like or we think we want and need, the reason we're getting these rejections blown up in our faces and these life explosions and things that are happening to devastate us is because that's God's way of telling you that's not the match for your life. So I'm rejecting it on your behalf, right? And so I think what the focus needs to be is, listen, and I know everybody may not be spiritual or what have you, but you have to focus your thoughts to say, I no longer just want anybody. I no longer just want a body.
Right.
I want the match for me.
Right.
The match that makes me function well, that when they connect these blood types together, the doctors look at one another and high five and say, that's the match. That works. Look at the way his and her body are responding to this connection. And so that's what should happen. And I think what we're doing is we're connecting with anybody. And so this is the last thing I'm gonna read really quickly. I saw something, and when I was researching this yesterday, I put in there what happens when a patient receives incompatible blood during a transfusion.
Okay.
And the answer was their immune system may attack the donor's cells, which cause a serious or even life-threatening reaction. This is called transfusion reaction. This is what's happening in love. We're having a transfusion reaction. And people, even the people who are taking the chance with people that you already know probably is not the best match for you, it says you can experience serious or life-threatening reactions. Now, this may not mean physically, so to speak, but it could be. Right? But I'm talking about like psychologically, a lot of us are dying out to love because we're failing to believe. We no longer believe, and we are just out here. And so I think we need to focus on, instead of just finding a body, pray for the body that's for you. You know what I'm saying? Not just anybody and showing up everywhere. Because everything nowadays, the difficulty is so many advertisements all over the place to meet up. Let's meet. Let's meet up. Let's meet. Let's connect. And the only thing happening at those things is meet connecting. That's it. Yeah, it's meeting. We're meeting, but meet is connecting. That's the only thing happening. There is nothing substantial are coming from these things, but glorified parties, people's husbands and wives cheating on them, people that are just people that say they want a husband or wife is playing themselves like they just easy sleazy all the whole weekend in this person's hotel, that person's hotel room. Like, what is the point? Like, we not kids anymore, right? We not like we adults, but we are playing like we are children. And that's the sad thing about this whole thing, man, for real.
Wow. I mean, so you said we're not children, but some of us are behaving like children. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because a mature person is going to be able to navigate that in a way that helps them and that benefits them. Children don't have that skill set yet. Children don't have that capacity yet. They take everything in.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, they take everything in. But as a mature adult understands that everything is not for me. Everything is not for me. But we don't know how to push it away. We would rather take it all in. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this, and I think I said this before.
Okay.
Now, it kind of times in on what we were talking about earlier about loving yourselves and everything like that. Who was that? The brother Demetrio, right?
Demetrio.
So here's the thing about loving yourself that we don't want to readily admit, but it's a reality, and it's going to sting a lot of us when I say this. Loving ourselves enough requires being able to say no to myself.
On behalf of yourself.
Yes, on behalf of ourselves. We don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
We don't know how to say no. And because we say yes to everything that comes in our direction and there's no no's in there, you're gonna everything is coming in your direction. You're receiving everything, you're taking everything.
Yeah.
When do you learn how to say no to yourself as an adult? Some of us are in situations right now, and the only reason why we're in that situation is because we said yes when we should have said no.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with ourselves. Yeah. When you learn how to say no to yourself, you'll be better off. Okay, let me deal with the compatibility issue when you talk about the transfusion. Let me talk about that real quick. That was really a good point. Yeah. Because of the fact that when your body receives something new, it has to go through the process of adapting to it, of allowing whatever is newly placed in your body. It has to go through the process of becoming acclimatized to it. You know, and acclimatized basically means becoming used to the environment. You become used to the environment. But what happens often is the fact that we get into situations and relationships, and we're not aware of the fact that we as two people may not be compatible for one another.
Wow.
Because let's be honest, everybody is not for you, just like everybody's not for me.
Yeah.
Which means that in my seeking and in my searching, like I said at the beginning, I have to be intentional and I have to be deliberate in the conversations that I have with a person to be able to determine whether or not we have compatibility. But what often happens is we ignore all of the red flags in the conversation that we're having with the other person just because we want somebody. I just want somebody. It don't matter where you come from or what you're doing or all that, this, that, and the other. We want somebody to the detriment of our own selves. At some point in time, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we have to be able to be discerning enough. We have to be able to analyze it and size it up enough to be able to understand, is this person compatible for me? Is this person my person? This is why communication is so important, because it's through our communicating with one another that we come to understand one another. And it might be, Charles, that person is not for you.
Yeah.
Which means you might have to say, you know what? We've gone as far as we can go. I think we need to let this go.
Wow.
And that's a big thing.
That's a tough truth sometimes.
It's a big thing.
It is a tough truth.
Let's be real. Let's be real about it. Sometimes we got to say, like I said, we got to say, you know what? This is not working out the way that it should be working out.
Yeah.
You're all the way over here and I'm all the way over there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is just not something that is going to work to our benefit.
Yeah.
Because one person can't just benefit in the relationship. Hear me real good.
Yeah.
One person can't just be the beneficiary in the relationship. I'm gonna say it one more time. One person cannot just be the beneficiary in the relationship.
Yeah.
You know why? Because there's two of us in here.
Yeah.
So I need to receive just as much as you need to receive. It can't just be one-sided in terms of receiving the benefit. There's got to be at least two beneficiaries in a relationship.
Yeah.
And if you're on the odd end of that and you're not getting anything, you might need to roll.
Yeah. That's why it needs to be an unselfish love.
Yes.
Unselfish love is not just in a relationship where the majority of either one person or the other, you're hearing the word I too many times.
Come on.
Not you, we, us. If you're hearing someone who constantly gives you a list of complaints without saying, how are you today? Are you okay? Yeah.
Are you okay?
All right. Did you do this? But if it's like the first thing off the lips, well, you didn't do this for me. This isn't a two-way street. This is a one-way lane that if someone else crosses it is a violation. So we gotta be honest with ourselves and just be like, hey, listen, to back up what you were saying when you were following up about the transfusion. Yeah. This is the point I'm getting ready to say is why it's important for us overall. And I'm gonna take it further because I know everyone is not quote unquote a believer, Christian wise, right? But everybody has quote unquote their higher power, right? So the point I'm saying in this situation is somebody's out there probably saying, well, Adam, Charles, how do you know if you're a good match or if it's working? Okay. First of all, you look for the signs of the success of the operation. Okay. The operation is the coming together, the blend. Yeah. Then the work is being done while you're blending to get to know each other and work it out. If it's success, it's not, that doesn't mean it's perfect. Listen, and that you won't have still some bleeding or a little bit of scarring or some bruising. Right. It's not going to be anything gaping where you just walk out of there like you still just all up and down your clothes bleeding. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be orderly, right? Yeah. It's going to be orderly. And so my point is, if we the final way to know whether or not the operation went well is both of you have to consult the doctor. The doctor, in the case that I'm speaking about, is God, right? Yeah. You consult God to say, hey, we're looking for confirmation that this worked. Yeah. Please reveal to us. And so anyone else, whatever your higher power is, you consult that to say, hey, did this work according as we desired? Because other than that, there is no way that one of us, the problem is both parties are trying to prove what's right and what's not based off of our funky losing record, right? Our win-loss record is more than likely is not good. And here's a smart way to gauge whether or not early when Adam said something about what I need, people, we look for what we want as opposed to what we need. Yeah. You go down your list of teams you played against during the season of your life, right? Look at that list and say, how many people on this list were people I needed versus people I wanted? Okay. And I guarantee you, if you have a losing record, it's because most of them were people you wanted, right? And not people you needed in your life. Yeah. And so the point, so at the end of the day, it's just about saying, I have learned myself that I'm not the end all be all on knowing what seems to be successful, nor is the other person. You have to have a mediator. Yeah. The third person brings the resolution. Yeah. And you can have all the ideas all day long. She's going to have hers. You're going to have your preferences and opinions. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times we're basing them off of relationships that did not work. Mm-hmm. So what? Somebody took out the trash in your house, but they cheated every day. So who cares? Well, is that good? So what? They had your oil change, paid for your gas, and they did all this. What were you a paid slave? Just making an example. So at the end of the day, we got to watch what we measure. History is history for a reason. The past is a past for a reason. That's right. So you got to look forward and say, listen, I've had all of these experiences. I've had all these relationships. They didn't work. So I'm open to a better way. And I'm opening myself to be not critical, not judgmental. I'm not bringing in something that I think worked over there, what somebody else did. I'm just going to be openly free to what happens. Yeah. I think if we do that, we'll have a better chance of being successful. Yeah, that's true. So let me just jump on the bandwagon real quick with the wants and needs thing, because that thing is hitting me. It's hitting. And so the reality is, and I think it was, I don't know, maybe it was Demetria, it might have been Danielle, but somebody was talking about God supplying all of our needs, and he does. Yes. He's faithful to do that. But I think the problem comes in that is that our needs and our wants don't look alike. They don't look, a need doesn't look like a want. Wow. And a want doesn't look like a need. These are different things. Yeah. We have the problem where we cannot differentiate, like I said before, what a need is and what a want is. And so when God supplies our need, oh wow, we don't see what we want. Wow. Because it's not what we want, it's what we need. And here's the thing. Here's watch this, y'all. Watch this. God is faithful to supply all of our needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. Okay, we going to Sunday school this morning. Watch out real quick. The fact that we cannot identify what our needs are because it didn't look like our wants, when God has supplied the need, we reject the need because it doesn't look like the want. Yeah. Wow. And so he can supply as many as it takes. But because we're not looking for the need, we're looking for the want, we miss it every single time. I guarantee you, man, I don't know who I'm talking to, but today, God has supplied your needs so many times. Yeah. So many times. Yeah, that's good. That you missed it because it didn't look like what you wanted. Wow. Or feel like what you wanted. Or feel like it. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Dion says needs can feel uncomfortable at first. And you know why they feel uncomfortable? Yeah. Because a need for you to accept a need requires stretching of your faith, stretching of your belief, which these things are going to leave behind stretch marks, which are uncomfortable, but they're good for you.
Yeah.
They're uncomfortable, but it's good to be able to show signs of an agreed upon shift.
Yeah.
Because of your belief. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the thing of it is, you gotta be able to differentiate what your need and what your want is.
Yeah.
Because again, I want to say it again, and I know I'm talking a broken record. We keep going after what we want or what we believe we want. In reality, we really don't know what we want.
Wow.
So that's all messed up. That's a whole nother show by itself because we don't really know what we want because our picker is broken. And so every time we see something, we think we want it. Just like a kid watching the TV and the commercial comes on for a new toy. Oh, mommy, daddy, I want that.
Wow.
But you got to be able to look at your life and say, these things are what I need.
Wow.
These things are what I want. And be able to say, you know what? Today, I'm not going after what I want. I'm going after what I need. God help me to see my need. Help me to see what I actually need versus what I want.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's good. Hey, we actually have a show in the hopper called Help, My Picker is Broken.
That's right. Yeah.
We can get to that, but just really quick, when you know what breaks, just as a preview, what breaks your picker is too many attempts at what I want and not what I need. You know how in the banking apps, you know, when they ask you for your password and you keep putting it in there.
Put it in there, right. And it locks you out.
It will lock you out.
That's right.
So when your picker is broken, you're locked out of love.
Because
you made too many, you keep making too many entries based off of what you want and not what you need.
Yeah.
On tonight.
On tonight.
Yes. But anyway, yes. Hey, this was a good show, sir. But anyway, as usual, we appreciate you guys for tuning into Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio each week, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We couldn't do it without you guys. We love the engagement and how you guys keep this going, because we promise you, every time we have these topics, we start off saying we're going to do this topic. And then on the ensuing days, we be like, well, what are we going to talk about? But I'm glad it works out every time we start.
It was good.
It ends up working out anyway. So
we stayed on point. We didn't get too far off track. We were still on point. We were still good.
I didn't go too far bad. Right? I didn't do too bad. All right, fine.
Oh,
anyway, we appreciate you guys, and we will definitely see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Ford, for your participation, sir. Thank you. See you guys in a second. All right, so now we at Unplugged.
Oh, here we go. About to mess it all up again. Tear it all down. Tear down everything we done built up. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, leave it to you, bro. Leave it to you.
Okay, listen.
A carnal self.
Okay, listen, guys. Here's the thing. We have to, I feel like the world as a whole has been knocked off of their center. And we are choosing to deal with life from various angles of comfort and convenience. When you are centered, you're able to make proper decisions, proper choices, collected thoughts, things that serve your life better. But when we are off kilter, we aren't balanced, and we risk fracture when we are moving about. Okay. So we have to learn to, like you said, settle yourself. When you're trying to call yourself meeting someone that you think is a good person for your life, make sure you're making a level and concerted effort of a decision, and not just one that's got you off balance because they met you in the moment. Just think about it. A prize fight that goes 12 rounds. That fighter that might have fought a good fight, but he was all loopy and got knocked down a couple times. You don't want to be that person that gets up dizzy and then somebody comes to give you a towel and some water and say, come on, let's leave the ring and go on a date, because you're not in your right mind. You're loopy and you messed up. You got to collect yourself first before you're able to entertain someone new. So make sure you're out of the ring and healthy and hydrated before you meet your next person.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So let me. I got a few points I didn't hit. I want to hit real quick.
There's two that never show over. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. Now you got me feeling some kind of way, bro. That's okay. All right. So real quick, let me just go down the line with these. Okay, when it comes to getting into the dating pool, I think some of our expectations for a potential love interest are out of whack with reality. I think we know what that means. Okay. Yes. Again, I already talked about we know what we need, but not what we want. Okay. Yes. Often we lack the ability to be flexible and elastic because our rigidity ends up breaking the relationship, which means you're not flexible enough. You're not flexible enough to accommodate somebody who's willing to change for you. So you both should be flexible and adaptable. And then, my question would be, where are you looking? Because some of us are looking in the wrong place, and that's the reason why we're finding the wrong thing. And the last thing is, I think we already said this before, was that people aren't willing to take risk in relationships. They aren't willing to risk anything, So that's it. That's my 2 cents.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you, Mr. Ford. Thanks, everybody, once again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Be safe.
Happy 4th. Enjoy. Be safe. Peace.